Today we're going to talk about Nepal, a nation that's voting for its future, while the wounds from a really violent recent uprising are still, well, they're still fresh. This election is so much more than just picking leaders. It's a huge test of whether the ballot box can actually deliver on the demands of a generation that was, just a little while ago, out protesting in the streets. Okay, let's start with this number, 77. This number is exactly why the stakes are so incredibly high. That's how many people were killed just 6 months ago in youth-led protests that shook the entire country. It's just a tragic, stark reminder of the human cost of the anger that fueled this vote.
And that really brings us to the core question of this whole explainer. I mean, after so much turmoil and so much loss, can just casting a ballot, can that really begin to heal a divided nation? Can it deliver the future that its people were literally fighting for?
To really get the hope that's being placed in this election, we have to go back and understand the fury that came right before it. So, let's take a look at what people started calling the Gen Z uprising.
You know, what's so fascinating here is that it was this perfect storm of issues. A social media ban was the spark, yeah, but the real fuel, that was years and years of frustration building up. Young Nepalis were just completely fed up with a lack of jobs, with the rampant corruption, and with a political class they felt was just totally out of touch with their lives.
And just look at how quickly it all spiraled. This timeline shows a nation just hitting its breaking point in a matter of weeks. It goes from a controversial ban to protests erupting all over the country, and then, boom, the complete collapse of the government. It was an absolutely stunning display of people power. So, with the old government gone, the election became the new battleground. And the fight wasn't just between political parties. It was really shaping up to be a showdown between generations. And this table just lays it all out so perfectly. It shows you the two poles of Nepali politics right now. On one side, you've got KP Sharma Ali. He's 74, a former prime minister, a veteran of Nepal's unique Marxist political scene, and he's promising stability through experience. Then on the other side, you've got Balender Shah, a 35-year-old rapper who basically became the face of this new, disruptive political energy. It's the classic establishment versus the insurgent.
But you know, it wasn't just a two-way race. Right there in the middle, you had figures like Gagan Thapa. At 49, he was really trying to bridge that generational divide. His argument was that Nepal needs both experience and a real hunger for reform. He was positioning himself as the guy who could build a new future. So, with these very different choices on the table, the stage was set for the voters. And that brings us to the big shift, from those fiery protests in the streets to this quiet, determined mood at the polling stations. This was everyone's hope, right? The ballot box solution. This quote from a 60-year-old voter, it just captures the feeling perfectly. This wasn't just another election. For so many people, like Nalanta Shakya, it felt like this was finally the chance for something genuinely new, a hope for meaningful change that had been put off for way too long. And then there's this quote from Tech Bahadur Ali, and wow, it's just incredibly powerful. It directly ties the sacrifice of the protesters to the simple act of voting. You can feel this profound sense of responsibility, this belief that those deaths cannot be for nothing, that their blood, as he says, has to bring about real change. And the numbers really show that people took that responsibility to heart. With almost 19 million eligible voters and a really strong turnout of around 60%, it's clear that Nepalis came out with a real sense of purpose. This wasn't just some civic duty. It felt more like a national mission. But you know, casting the ballots, that was really just the first step. Tallying them all up and then trying to form a government, well, that presents a whole new set of challenges. This next phase is all about counting the change. And the challenges here are just immense. I mean, forget digital voting. We're talking about a manual counting process in a country with some of the most difficult terrain on Earth. Helicopters, literally helicopters, are needed just to go out and collect ballot boxes from remote, snowed-in mountain villages. All this means a final result is going to take several days, for sure. And then, once all the votes are finally counted, the political math begins. You've got 65 different parties competing for seats. The reality is, no single party is likely to win a clear majority. This almost guarantees a coalition government. And that means compromise, it means negotiation, and it means a potentially very messy path forward.
So, after all of this, where does that leave Nepal? That brings us to our final and most crucial question. What comes next?
Right now, the country is just in this moment of suspense. The people have spoken, their ballots are being carefully counted, but the story is, well, it's far from over. The future of Nepal is basically hanging in the balance, waiting to be revealed one ballot box at a time.
And that leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? After the uprising, after the sacrifices, after this massive voter turnout, will this election finally be the turning point that those Gen Z protesters fought and died for, or will it become just another chapter in Nepal's long, complicated struggle for change? Only time is going to tell.